All right, this is APBC Calculus. We're doing midterm review, and this is multiple choice number 9. An equation of the line tangent to a given curve here at its point of inflection is. Okay, so anytime you need an equation of a line, you need two things. One, you need a point, which in this case is tricky, right? This is a tricky one because it's the point of inflection, which we're going to talk about in a second, right? And the second thing we need is a slope. And that, because we want the tangent line, is going to be f prime of x at the point that we find. So the tricky part about this question is we're going to have to find this point of inflection first. So let's kind of work backwards with what a point of inflection is, right? So we got to find the point of inflection to find anything about that time. Well, a point of inflection for, let's say, so for some curve y, is going to be where y double prime equals 0 or does not exist, and this is key, changes sign. So I need the second derivative, I need a sign chart, I need to find where it changes sign. So my y prime is going to be a 3x squared plus 6x. My y double prime is going to be a 6x plus 6. Well, hey, that's nice. I can find the point of inflection pretty quickly. There's only one time that y double prime is 0. It's going to be at a -1, right? Because -6 equals 6x. -1 is x. And sure enough, because this is a line, it definitely changes signs at -1, right? It's negative and then positive. So the point of inflection definitely happens at x is -1. So that's good. To find the actual point of inflection, I have this -1, and I'm going to need to plug back into the actual y function. So y of -1 is going to be, and if we go back up for a sec, I have an x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2. So x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2. That's going to be a -1 plus a 3 plus a 2, so I think I get a 4. Cool. So after all that work, I have a point. Great. So point. The point is officially -1 comma 4. Now I need the slope. Well, the slope is going to be f prime evaluated at that point. So my slope is going to be f prime at -1, right? Well, my f prime's down here, right? Or sorry, it's not an f prime in this case. It's just a y prime, my bad. We'll fix that, make it a y prime. So y prime at this point, right? So my y prime at -1 is going to be a 3 times -1 squared plus a 6 times a -1. Well, that's a 3 minus a 6, or a -3. Cool. So right away, I know the slope of my line is a -3, and honestly, I can kind of cheat. It doesn't really matter what my point is. If my slope of the line is a -3, it kind of has to be the only answer that has a slope of -3. But if you really wanted to finish out, my equation would be y minus the y value equals m, x minus the x value. I would distribute, because this is in slope-intercept, I'd get y equals -3x minus 3 plus a 4, and sure enough, it's this one. But again, I probably wouldn't bother, because I can see that there is literally only one answer that has the correct slope. So I would pick that answer.